Okay. It's 9:30, Wednesday, January 24th. We'll call our regular business meeting to order, and I'd ask if you join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we will start off the agenda with public comment. Starting right here, I kind of go clockwise.
Oh, I already went over my whole agenda thing that I have to file a formal complaint to the county commissioners to have my issue investigated from there on. However, I do have that issue with that bed and breakfast, which is a short-term rental in the natural resource zone, and apparently it is up for interpretation of what exactly your Title IX zoning code infers with a tourist home, which is a residence rented by the day, week, or month, and it because that's the natural resource zone district up there. And what I've read on your updated code, it says that you have to have off-street parking, a conditional use permit, and that conditional use permit that I keep saying this place needs is for this off-road parking issue that we continue to have with that residence. There is perfectly available off-road parking area, a garage that's right there. Yet last week I had to file a police report because there was a broken down truck on the state highway in the right-of-way that was causing the sanding truck, the plow truck, the bus to have to go into the oncoming traffic lane to bypass where this truck was blocking the road. Now, the police, after the report, called me back and said that, oh, well, you could just go around it. There's enough room, you can go around it. And before the weekend, when we had all of the ATVers come zip-de-doing up there, I almost had a head-on collision when I went home in that area, because where do you go? Do you hit that truck that's blocking that whole lane of traffic, or do you go in the creek? And with as slick as the roads are, you can't really stop on that road. And Sunday, with all of the snowmobilers up there in their trailers, they sent the public works sanding truck up there because they were all stuck down at the bottom of my road, Gorge Gulch, unloading their snowmobilers because they couldn't make it up to the power station. And, there you go. So yes, the truck was gone on Monday, but when I called the state about this issue, they said that as long as they were off the pavement and past the white line in the warmer months, they wouldn't do anything about that. But in the wintertime, they're not supposed to park there.
Okay.
We discussed this. I talked to her earlier, and I'm having her file a formal complaint to the board listing everything that she believes is against our ordinance, and then we're going to turn it over to planning and zoning and roads. They can investigate it, give us a report, and then we can have a hearing after that. So,
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Were you letting her do? Okay. Anything today?
I'll wait to the end if anything comes up.
Okay.
We're just here to collect some information, listen to what the Collins have to say, and we don't have anything to add.
now about that site that we're talking about, do you see that there's problems?
We've driven by. It's been snowy, so we haven't been able to. There isn't any campers there, as far as I remember. And the Collins pointed me to, or let me know that there's like online advertisements for this campground, and so we did see those. The advertisements do appear to describe stuff that wouldn't be vested. All right, I presume you guys are pretty familiar with like the septic situation over here. So any change of use or increase in flows would require a permit, like a septic permit. And all those lots up there, none of them meet current standards, so they wouldn't be able to get any different permit for any different use or additional flows. And it does look like that the advertisement online advertises things that wouldn't have been for, like a single family residence, which is what would have been historically up there, and what they would be vested for. However many bedrooms that each single family residence had is what it would be vested for. So, but advertising something isn't something that we're going to be able to enforce. Somebody advertising or talking about something. So we really need to see it happening, something like that, so we would be able to start working towards some sort of solution.
Okay.
And my understanding is a couple years ago, the problem was worked through, and they did get to a point where the parcels were back in compliance. But over the years, it sounds like they've added more stuff again and even trying to add even more rental stuff, like in a garage.
And 2 weeks ago, she did have a tent down there camping.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not much we can do about someone camping in a tent. But sure, like when there's like campers hooked up to like a single family residence septic system.
Or is the tent going to the bathroom? There's a camp right next to that bathroom that's decommissioned.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll
and we would
come back to
would have to. Yeah, it's difficult to confirm like violations like that, because like I said, we need to see the violation happening, which is super difficult on stuff like that.
Well, I guess if planning and if they're going to do an on-site investigation, maybe that's something we can tag along on and really get on-site with them and maybe actually gather some evidence that we could use.
Yeah.
Because that's what we would need to pursue any enforcement.
Do you have a card?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys can leave us a card, and then I'll give it to planning and zoning, so when they do their.
Yeah, and Dan and them down there, they're familiar with me for sure. Things less so Chris, but
Okay.
But yeah, that's a really good point, because some of the stuff that we end up doing at the health department ties to what counties are calling stuff. So like if the county's calling a dwelling, then we can more easily call it a dwelling.
Okay.
And point to, I only have 2 cards, but Chris had 3. So yeah, working with planning and zoning to determine what's there and what's going on there will be helpful, and any sort of like future prosecution, if it gets to something like that, the health department would be interested to know what the county may do, or maybe try to go through with if it ever got to there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Ms. Collins, do you want to add?
So it's perceived compliance is what she's doing. Is when you guys come up or anybody comes up and look and she ain't doing anything, then you guys are saying, okay, she's not doing anything. But the following weekend, that she's got tent campers and people camping in the little cabin and people camping in the garage. So how does that work? Do we call you when we see something going on, and there's no way you can come up and look at it?
Yeah, I mean, documenting it, like pictures, letting us know when it's happening. Yeah, that's kind of the best we can do.
So you want us to start taking pictures again?
Yeah, you could be doing that,
Because we have before when this started out the first time. This is not
Sure.
long.
This is 4 years worth of an illegal campground that is still operating.
Right, and like I said, all the information that I've seen, it looks like she was got back to compliance, and then has now gone back to not in compliance. So I don't.
The only
I don't know
thing
what
we
the
seen about
solution is.
compliance was maybe a 2-week to a month period, and then she was right back to doing what she was doing before, and then each time she kind of amplifies it and does more and more.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't know what the solution is to get somebody to stop doing that.
Send her a letter from the county commissioner or the planning and zoning asking her to reapply for her conditional use permit.
That would solve all the problems.
At the last commissioners, that was her option when she lost her permit was, you are more than happy to come in here and reapply for another permit. And she just hasn't wanted to do that. Why should she do that when she can run a campground without a permit?
For our enforcement procedure, when we've dealt with these issues in the past, we get to a point where there's nothing more we can do, and we punt it to the county prosecuting attorney.
Right.
And that's how it's worked with other
Well, it's
properties
gone
like this
through
in
the
past.
prosecuting attorney here, and she basically said, okay, well, we've already looked at all of the issues. They have taken out the toilet and the sink, but all they've done for the pipes is remove a section of the pipe.
They have those pictures.
Remove a section of the pipe, which basically to me and anybody else means, okay, well, we just winterized it. Because come spring, when we hook that back up, all it's going to take is for me to put in a 4-inch rubber connector between those two pipes, and now I'm using it again. And the advertising that she keeps advertising are for a flush toilet for her tent, 1 tent space campground. 1 tent space, 6 RVs, and now this lodging that she wants to rent out in the garage. And the county commissioners have already sent her letters telling her to cease and desist advertising things that she does not have permission to use on her site. And she just, okay, I'll take that site down, and now I'll open 2 more.
But it's hard to enforce when nobody has an enforcement person in line. And we understand that too.
Yeah, it's super difficult. The last successful enforcement that we had, or like the most recent enforcement that we had, was in conjunction with another county. But I believe in Benoit, I believe we tried to get the state DEQ to help, but we didn't really get much help.
I don't think much happened there.
No, it ended up going through the county prosecutor. I wasn't a part of that. I don't know exactly the steps that were taken, but
We did have a property, this was in Kootenai County, but it was a full-on illegal RV park, no septic permits at all. It eventually went to the Kootenai County prosecuting attorney, and that was a 4-year process in and of itself. And that was, we'd been on site, we had all the evidence we needed, it was cut and dry. So yeah, when they came in for a compliance conference, we went through all of our, what we can do. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, now it turned into that.
Yeah, and it sounds like the only reason that one got really fixed is because they sold the property.
Well, there ended up being a judgment against them but I don't really know what happened. They eventually sold and they were gone. But it took 2 years before the prosecuting would even pick it up. And then I think it took another 2 years for them to. It takes a long time, but yeah, we do as much as we can with our limited enforcement type capabilities. We just document as much as we can, and
DEQ can't enforce it any more than Panhandle Health, because they're kind of on the same line right there with everybody else. We can't go on private property unless we're invited on private property. She hasn't filed for a permit, so planning and zoning can't go up there and investigate her property unless they can prove that she's actually doing something illegal, and then they can send her a letter and say, hey, you're doing something illegal, you need to stop that, or, whatever. And the threats don't work with this lady because they're continuing threats. from Panhandle Health about cease and desisting the septic, from the commissioners from cease and desisting the advertising for an illegal campground, and there you go.
Okay, I'm gonna have to cut us off. We've gone past our 2 minutes, but happy to set up another meeting if we need to. And it sounds like you've already got a plan going with them. Okay, I apologize, but we've got the gist. It's an enforcement challenge.
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right, well, I need to move us on. Old business consideration and decision of the minutes. Would entertain a motion to accept last week's minutes.
I'll motion to accept last week's minutes, January 15th through January 19th.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that carries. Okay, new business. There are no beer, wine, and liquor licenses. We've all reviewed the payables. Any
Yes.
comments or questions?
No.
Cancellations, homeowners, we do have one, property code 440000, a homeowner exemption that was returned. Any questions or comments on that?
No.
Okay, we do have a Pine Creek Auto Wrecking Yard license before us. I have visited that wrecking yard. I have some concerns about fencing, and our requirements. So I'm going to motion that we table that one pending a discussion with the owner about meeting the current standards for fencing.
Okay.
I'll second that then.
Have you had a chance to visit that one?
Yeah, I visited that one as well, and I agree. He was in the process of last year of getting the fence up. So
And
most likely you didn't get it all the way up.
no.
Okay.
Okay, so we've agreed to table that pending a discussion with the owner and some compliance issues, or we have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we will table Pine Creek Wrecking Yard license until I can meet with the owner and all of us meet with the owner. Okay, so that takes care of new business consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. We do have, I hate to do that. We do have one last shot at public comment on the agenda. Got to keep your comments to a minute or so. If anybody has anything else that we need to, it's your turn.
Okay.
You can have 2 minutes. You haven't used any.
Okay, I'll hurry. Wrecking facilities. One thing I think that when you're looking at getting the licenses, besides the fencing, is also the tires. There is, in the ordinances, how many tires or how much they have to pay. I think you have the papers that I've sent you
Yeah.
and stuff, and there's like, it's spelled out exactly. And I think they all should have to apply or be where they have to do that. Otherwise, they just keep piling more tires and they say, oh, well, I have too many or I can't get rid of them. And I think you have checked that it's $400
Yeah.
now for a semi to come in and they drop off the trailer and they can stuff it as full as they want and then they haul it off. And otherwise they're going to wind up in the woods. And we have to remember what kind of area we're in. So before these licenses, like you're going out to look, are given, all of this should be taken into consideration.
Good point.
Because years ago, there was a meeting in the courthouse and we had the whole official stuff and all of the guys were there and they were told this. Well, then they just patted them on the back and said, okay, well, you're going to do it. Well, the same situation is still there.
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
I
you.
tried to hurry.
You did well.
Good.
You did well. All right. We'll move on. We have no executive session requirements today. We have no indigent cases before us. So do we have any discussion or comments from the commission?
No.
And I'm only hurrying because we have another meeting in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Any comments?
No, they have quite
All right. I want to thank you all for coming in. We are rolling slowly towards answers. Sounds like we're not the only county that's choked on some of these issues. So, all right, with that, we are adjourned.